So next, we're going to automate the open account test now. Now in this test, what we need to do, these are the two drop-down lists that we actually need to handle, right? So we've already created a class with the name open account test, and here we will be writing those tests, right? But before we go ahead and write the test, we're gonna add the locators for this interface. So I'll go to the properties like OR properties, and inside this I'm gonna say open account test, right? And in this, what all locators we need to write, we need to click on the open account button, right? So it should be open account, and since we are taking CSS, I'm gonna write CSS equal to this, and then customer CSS, then we have currency CSS, and then we have a process, right? Process CSS equal to this, right? So these are the four things that we actually need to work on. So very first, we're gonna find the locator for open account button, and it should be uh, very straightforward. We can take this ng class, so we can write a locator with double dollar, and we're gonna say button ng class equal to button class 2, right? So we get one single locator. So I'll use this and put it over here. For customer, let's go over here. It should be again very straightforward. So I can take the ID as user select. So I'll say hash user select. For currency, again ID would go. So hash currency. For process, let's see what is for process. So it should be simple, button type equal to submit. And let's see if it is unique. Yes, we get one single button, so I can use this locator. Right. Now let's go back to our test, and what we need to do, the very first thing, we need to click on this open account button, right? So open account option, so I'm gonna call the method click, and inside that I'll gonna give the locator that is open account CSS, right? After this, what we need to do, we need to select two values and then again click on process button. So I'll first write the locator for process button, because for selecting the values, we can either use send keys, but instead of send keys, I would recommend you to use the select class, right? So select class is very effective as compared to send keys. You may face some challenges while working with drop down list when you use send keys, right? So try using like prefer using select itself instead of the send key. So what we're gonna do, like we have created some keywords for type, like click and type. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add same way I'm gonna add another keyword for select. So I'm gonna say public void select. That should accept a locator, and that should accept a value, right? So from where you need to select the value and which value that you want to select. So concept will going to remain same if locator starts with ends with this, and if it ends with XPath, we're going to take all these things, right? And then we're going to add these things. I'll just going to copy paste the code, and we're going to make some changes over here. Right. So over here, what I'm gonna do, I'll first add a drop down. So as a static web element drop down, right? And here, what I'm gonna do with this drop down, I'll gonna say if locator dot ends with CSS, then drop down equal to driver dot find element by dot property list. I'm not going to do send case right now. Right. Similarly for other as well, if it is if it ends with X path, then drop down should be this. Same way for ID. Right. And then I'm going to create an object of select class. I'll say select equal to new select, and we're going to pass the drop down over here, whichever drop down that is actually selected. Right. So let's import this through Selenium, and then we're going to say select dot select by visible text, and in the text we can give the value. So whichever value that we're going to provide over here will this select class will gonna select that value in the drop down option. So over here in the info I can say selecting from drop down down, and the value should actually come from the Excel sheet, right? So I've given a locator and value as value, right? So selecting from drop down and value as this value. So let's see. This is one of the select method that we have created, and now we can directly go over here and say select, and in the locator we're going to give customer CSS, and the value, let's say the value that will be selecting will come from the drop down list, right? Same thing goes, we need to put it in double quotes, right? So second is currency that we want to select, and it should again come from the Excel sheet, right? Now, what we need to do once we select this value, once we click on process, let's say I go over here, I click on this, I'll selected customer this, clicked on selected the currency as dollar, clicked on process. Again, I get an alert like this. So again, we need to accept the alert, right? So same thing that we have used in the add customer test, I can use the same alert method over here, right? So we're first gonna check the presence of alert, and then we're gonna accept it, right? If you want to do more validation, that we get a message once we process. Okay, it says account created successfully with account number this. So you can actually validate this message as well. So this is the same way that we have seen in the previous test, right? You can repeat the same steps over here. So we're just accepting the alert. I would like to give some hard code sleep over here just to make sure that everything works smooth. Then we can remove this thread of thing, right? So this is what we have actually created. We have added OR properties. We have added properties for our third test, and then we have added a third test over here. And in the Excel as well, we actually need to give the same sheet name. So let's go to Excel, and we have already added a sheet with the name open account test, and the customer and currency we have already added over here, right? Now what I gonna do, let's say this is about the third test. In the second test I want to let's say parameterize it more. Parameterization, the benefit of parameterization is that I can add n number of data over here. So I can add let's say I can repeat I can add 4 set of data over here, right? In the first set, I add this name. In the second set, I add this name. In the third set, I add this name. In the fourth set, let's say I add a name like this, right? So let's say I add four set of data and I want the same test to be repeated four times. This is what the benefit of parameterization is, right? So when it goes to add customer test, it will add four records and then it will move on to the open account test, right? So in the add customer test, again, I want to be on a safer side. So first, let me add some a little bit sleep over here, right, just to make sure nothing breaks, and then we can remove the sleep part. Although nothing will gonna break, that is why, or that is what the explicit weights are for, right? So I'll add the sleep, right? And right now, if you want to remove this hardcode failures, you can remove it because we have already tested that in case of a failure, the test case actually fails and a screenshot is captured in the report, right? Now over here, we are going to test whether we are able to parameterize this test and whether the third test that we have created successfully runs or not. So in test.ng XML file, I'm gonna add another test over here and name it as open account test. It should be open account test over here as well. Open account test. Right. So what I'll do, I'll first clear, say Maven clean and clear everything in the target folder. And now I'm gonna run it again. And before that, we need to make sure the Excel that we have edited must be saved and must be closed. And now we should run our test. So run as Maven test. And let's see if it reads all four set of data and execute our third test. So first test, see, second set, third set, fourth set, then now it should go to open account and process and quit. So just we want to make sure that it actually clicks on the process part or not, because we have two failures over here, right? So it timed out 5 seconds waiting for alert to present. Right, so it means when we were executing it, there was no alert present in the open account test. So we clicked on that button and then we waited for 2 seconds and no alert shows up. So let's see what is a catch over here. I'll just gonna troubleshoot it to make sure. Oh, okay, what happens? Something broke. At times, if we get this error, we'll first try to update the Maven project. Okay, error is gone. Okay, this is the issue. I've actually hard coded the CSS over here. That's why it didn't click on process CSS, right? So it should be process CSS. Otherwise, everything looks fine, right? So let's save this and run this again. Run as Maven clean and then run as Maven test. So first set of data added. Now second set of data added. Third. And now it goes over here. It should accept the alert and should quit. Right. So we have got one failure. That should be in the initial test, right? And that too we have cannot find element when selector is null. Okay, again it could be an issue. Let's see. Let's look at the reports. So I'll say refresh and go to target, surefire reports, HTML, extend.html, and see the latest screenshots added. So let's see why we have a failure over here. So see, all this set of data, she entered the value as this, and this was the second value, the third value, the fourth value. See, all different values are there, right? Open account test. This also got successfully executed. In this, we said verification failed with the exception. Okay, this should be fine. And the second one says login bank manager failed with exception this cannot find element while the selection is null. So clicking on bank manager login button and then we found this issue. So let's see what's going on with bank manager login button. So it says clicking on BML button underscore CSS. It should be fine. Let's see the screenshot. Should be fine. And let's look at the test. So again, we are forcefully failing it over here, but the error says something else. Let me comment out the failed part over here, and let us check the logs as well. So in the logs that we were actually generating and resources, where are resources? Gosh, where are resources? Let me refresh the project. So src test resources logs, and I'll go to the application logs. So over here, the log that we were actually generating, that was login successfully executed. Okay, so it didn't go over here, right? Inside login test was there, but login successfully executed was not there. So some issue is over here, right? So let's see what is the issue. Probably it's not able to locate bank BML button underscore CSS. Let's see. That should be everything is correct. Let me run this again. And we are finding the presence of this element. So login not successful. Okay, so let us give it one more run to make sure everything works fine. It did click on Bank Manager login, so there shouldn't be an issue. So the test is executing fine, and still we have one failure. It says login as bank manager, cannot find element, illegal argument. Okay, let's see. Cannot find elements when the selector is null. So at this line, okay, we have a failure at this line. Right, we are actually checking the presence of. Oh, okay. So this is what the mistake is. I actually need to add underscore CSS over here, right? So CSS like this. Now it should work fine. So if I right click, run as Maven clean, and Maven test. Now everything should work fine, even the parameterization part. So you can add multiple sets of data and you can perform your testing with that. Right? No need to repeat the test again and again. It will be handled by your data provider itself. All right. So all test success, no failures. And if we over here refresh the report, still shows a failure. Let's see. This must be the whole report. Let me refresh the project. Maybe that failure was just a verification failure. Like we have added verify equals over here, right? So that thing should be validated in extend HTML because verification failures, how we have actually configured, it should actually fail in the verification part in exception in your extend report only, right? So verification failed and rest everything is successfully executed. Right? So this is how you can keep on adding more and more test cases and the same process, the same step you can follow all the loggings and everything should gonna remain same with further test cases as well. Right?